Oi, oi, all right. How's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is the Doodle Review coming through with a new album to give a spin, chat some fraff, and then assign an arbitrary score to. Today, it's the turn of Converge. Before we get into that, I'm going to give you the obligatory plug of our newsletter community. There's a link for it down in the description. Every week, I send a list of 5 albums, my thoughts on those albums, a heads up on what new records are being released that Friday, and the Doodle Jukebox as well. You should get into it. It's a growing community that we've got there. Links down there in the description. I don't know what more I need to tell you. You need to get into it. Returning after a near decade between studio albums, Converge are back. Love Is Not Enough is the band's 11th record. And while the wait for new material might have been agonizing for some, the band have made it worthwhile. Now, I'm not a scholar of all things Converge. I first jumped into their world somewhere in the midst of the All We Love, We Leave Behind era. And at that point in time, I was really just sort of like dipping my toe into the more modern iterations of hardcore and just starting with metalcore. As a result, that album just completely like blew my mind. It was incredible, but also slightly overwhelming. I'm not sure I was ready for it. Dusk in Us came out in 2017, and I was more able to receive the style at that point. My taste had kind of caught up. That's not to say it wasn't overwhelming. Dusk is a densely layered record, an absolute monster that has only gotten better with age. Revisiting it now, I'm not surprised the band waited a decade to follow it up, to be honest. The technicality, the swing, the speed, the emotion, I feel like Converge really pushed the metalcore genre to its limit on Dusk in Us, and letting that album just kind of reverberate for some time was probably the right thing to do, just out of respect for what they had achieved. Since that LP, the band members have all remained active with other projects. I really enjoyed the Blood Moon album with Chelsea Wolfe and members of Cave In, though I know that wasn't super popular with the fan base. Kurt Ballou has been busy producing. I've particularly enjoyed his work with Mutoid Man and High on Fire. But the album that really got me going was Jacob Bannon's Umbra Vitae record, Light of Death, in 2024. Tracks like Belief is Obsolete and Anti Spirit Machine just went so fucking hard. It got me charged up and ready to know what a new Converge album could have in store. Love is Not Enough is everything I could have hoped for and more, to be honest. This album is raw, it's intense and powerful. Where Dusk in Us had this kind of exploratory, wide ranging vision with expansive arrangements, innovative riffs, and lots of drama, Love is Not Enough feels stripped back by comparison. And to say stripped back maybe feels in some way like a suggestion that Dusk was overproduced, which it surely wasn't. But there's just a Spartan feel to this record that stands it apart, I think. Arrangements are economical, riffs are optimized for impact rather than innovation or technicality, and there's just a directness to the performances. These tracks feel like they're straight out of the oven. I don't feel like I'm being subliminally hit with layers upon layers of guitars. It just feels like an extremely well recorded band playing at maximum intensity. Jacob Banham is a deep dude capable of dredging the depths of human emotion through song, whether that's grief, depression, anxiety, fear, hopelessness, or pain. But on Love Is Not Enough, the overriding feeling is, perhaps reflective of the time, just intense anger. The drama we felt on Dusk has been boiled in rage, and all that's now left is a raw nerve. Musically, I detect a slight emphasis on the metal in the metalcore this time round too. In Bad Faith, there is a section in the second half between the two sets of Bad Faith gang vocals where this riff sort of climbs up and down the guitar neck that feels almost Mastodon-esque for me. Force meets presence after the intro. It gets into the and it gets into the main section. It's just super thrashy, and we even get some dual guitar leads with laden with harmonies. And it's moments like these where you can hear the band having fun, which almost sounds ridiculous on a record this dark. But as a guitarist, when you're putting that much like whittly spice on like a take, that little bit of stank, you just know that they're having a blast. There are, of course, a lot of moments of tense atmosphere to counteract these moments of bombast. Beyond Repair is the sole instrumental of the album, and it feels like a portent of the apocalypse. I also love more subtle examples of this atmosphere via the use of clean arpeggio guitar on Gilded Cage. We can't leave without, acknowledging some of the balls to the wall fury present on this record, though. I talked earlier about going for impact over innovation. And by that, I'm not trying to undercut anything as like simple, but you can hear that some clear choices are being made to just kind of like drive a certain point rather than add loads of bells and whistles. And it's much appreciated by me because these parts are just killer. To my mind, the album opens and closes with some of the best of those moments. Love Is Not Enough at the top of the album is wild with its double pedal drive and ending like locked in runs up down the guitar neck. We also get one of the most epic finales on We Were Never the Same that it just makes you want to run through a fucking wall, to be honest. This album is relentless. It's well worth the wait and just proves that Converge might be one of the best bands to ever do this shit. It's incredible. I'd probably give this a 9.2. And yeah, it's a heavy way to start the year. Absolute banger. It's already going to be one of the year's best records, I believe. And if you're a Converge fan, I'd be interested to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments if you've heard it, where it stacks for you against all the rest of their discography. As someone that has dabbled in mainly more of the later records of Converge, it'd be good to hear from you as well. Maybe where I should start, where I should do my listen, my kind of deep dive, and what point in the discography I should start from, other than maybe the beginning. That would be obvious, wouldn't it? Other than that, I need to yeah, just let you know again to check out the link to the newsletter down below in that description. You'll find loads of reviews from lots of different genres and bands of different sizes. So yeah, go ahead and get subscribing. Other than that, time for me to knock it on the head. Take care, mate. I know you go. Cheers. Bye.